Many athletes hyped themselves up for the Tokyo Olympic Games, thinking that they were going to perform at their best and create a personal record for themselves. However, many were met with anxiety or just didn't do well because of the time away from the Olympics during the pandemic. One case of this was Matthew Ramsden. So stay tuned to today's video as we discuss Matthew Ramsden thankful for Birmingham Berth after Tokyo Olympics heartbreak. First up, Matthew Ramsden is back for more. After last year's Tokyo Olympic heartbreak, it looks like Matthew Ramsden is back into the sporting world with a burning desire to make up for some lost time in Birmingham. He is on his way to the Commonwealth Games after earning a call-up to the track and field team for the 1500 and 5000 meters from Australia. Sadly, he missed out on a spot for the Tokyo Olympics team, even though he ran a qualifying 1500 meter race. Ramsden himself mentioned how he had some tough questions to ask himself after the loss of the Olympic spot for Tokyo. He said he is now eager for a fresh chance and a way to make an impression. It's good for me to be back in the action and not being on the sidelines. I get to prove myself again outdoors in a national team. I think of it as a huge opportunity, he said. After missing Tokyo, you start to kind of question things that you're doing and thinking, am I good enough? And then it takes a lot of self-belief to prove to yourself you are good enough. When you finally get picked on these teams, you've got to turn up so that you keep getting selected and that there's no doubt in the selector's mind for the next time they might have to choose between you and someone else. After Craig Mottram carried the torch for Australian middle distance runners for years, McSweyn and Hoare reached the Olympic 1500 meter final last year, and Hoare just broke the national record for the mile. Ramsden said he liked the competition. It's good in the sense that it definitely will make me a better athlete in the long run, because I'm more competitive with these guys, he said. If you're just the top dog, there's less guys pressing you to make teams. But if you're the best by a long margin, which is kind of the way Craig Mottram was, it allows you to kind of set the pace of your own train. It's nice to see another young face find their footing once again in the athletics world. A lot of crazy stuff happened for athletes during the pandemic. They weren't able to train as much or even at all in some cases. When it came down to performing for events, it was harder for them as it had been a long time for many. Usually, Olympic athletes are able to perform at events between Olympic Games, but this case was much different. What do you think about Matthew's story? Let us know down in the comment section below. And now stay tuned for some more Tokyo Olympics content. Next up, remember the Russian situation from the Tokyo Olympics? The first thing to cover regarding Russia's disgrace is them expressing outrage over what they have said is biased judging. This is in regard to the Olympic rhythmic gymnastics. During the Olympic Games last year in Tokyo, we saw Israel's Lenoy Ashram claiming victory over the three-time world champion Dina Averina from Russia. This brought to an end Russia's dominance in the Olympic sport. They really aren't happy about being beaten, but is their outrage over supposed biased judging valid? There were lots of issues with the judging, but it doesn't seem to be biased. This is the first time a Russian has failed to win a gymnastic Olympic event since 1996. With the prominent Russians involved in the Olympics saying that the judges are being biased, it's safe to assume that the athlete herself would have something to say about what happened. She said in interviews that she did not think it was a fair day for the Olympic sport. It was also said by some Russian people involved in the games that it was simply a disgrace to rhythmic gymnastics. According to some, it also seems like the games have moved on from Russia and they got tired of them. This is due to many reasons, but the main one seems to be what we are going to cover next. We saw even Vladimir Putin himself hail the performance of Russia's Olympic athletes, who are surprisingly competing under a neutral banner this year. This is because Russia was banned from the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games after they were found guilty of state-sponsored doping. This means that the athletes cannot use the famed Russian flag or even use their national anthem. Despite this, there were still over 300 Russian competitors that were allowed to compete in the games under the ROC moniker. This is one of the reasons they are thinking that the judges were biased against them. It could be true, but there really are no pieces of evidence to prove this. So what do you think? Let us know down in the comments below. The Olympics overall was amazing last year, even with its controversial moments. Gymnastics especially has been the star of the show for so many people. It's one of the best years yet for the sport as it opened opened up the possibilities for new contenders to the throne. From what we have seen in last year's Olympic Games, the next few games are going to be amazing. So many new talented people have shown up in the world of the Olympic Games that we are excited to see what they do in the future. This is especially true to the gymnastics scene, as it's definitely a sport for younger people. Every year we get new people to the sport, and they show the world just how amazing gymnastics can be. This year especially shows the new talent coming into the world. The gymnastics scene has also seen some controversy this time around. Some were from the actual games themselves, and some were from the past. The ones from last year show just how much the world needs to grow when it comes to mental health and people telling their stories. The Olympics are very secretive when it comes to training, so hopefully these people speak out more in the future. Finally, here are some Olympic conspiracy theories to end off the video. This first conspiracy theory takes us all the way back to the 2008 Beijing Games. Michael Phelps is an amazing swimmer, and it's known for his Olympic success throughout the years. In 2008, he dominated the pools and grabbed a record 8 gold medals during the games, but a conspiracy is that he only won 7 of these races and not 8. In the 100-meter butterfly, we saw Phelps beginning slow, but he picked up pace throughout the swim. For most people, it looked like at the end of the race, he lost to Milorad Kavik from Serbia. When the official times were posted, Phelps beat Kavik by 0.01 seconds. This is insane. Did Phelps actually do this? This one is based around a love relationship. Our second conspiracy theory is that the Canadian ice dancing duo Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir have had an off-the-ice relationship for years. This conspiracy is based on the fact that these two have amazing chemistry on the ice, as so many of the spectators at the South Korean Games noticed. Since then, these two have been seen holding hands during practice runs and have had multiple fan fictions written about them and are even said to have a child together. These theories may seem a little out there, but they are based in some hard logic. Neither of them have ever confirmed their relationship, but no one would be surprised if they were actually together. Our final conspiracy theory is pretty recent, taking place during the 2016 Rio Summer Games. Golf was accepted into the 2016 Rio Summer Games, but for some reason, most of the main golfers around the world didn't show up for them. Some of them said it couldn't fit into their busy schedule, and others were scared of the Zika virus. This sparked controversy and conspiracy, as no other athletes withdrew from the games. There are 2 reasons that people came up with for their departure. One was that the money wasn't good enough for them, and another was based around drug testing. Whatever the reason, it was a weird thing for them to do, so it's no surprise it was shrouded in conspiracy. The Olympics may be popular, and everyone is excited for them every year, but they are always shrouded in scandals and shock. Corruption and conspiracy always seem to be a part of the Olympic Games. This list dealt with some pretty serious scandals involving cheating and even some fixing from the government themselves. This shouldn't put down the games as a whole though. And that is the end of today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed this latest video. If you did, would you please let us know down in the comments section below? It would be very helpful. Make sure to like the video, comment down below, and of course subscribe to the channel with the notification bell rung. Thank you for watching today's video. Bye!